Hey guys, EXO here. In this video, I'll be walking you guys through the resources I've been using to keep track of wandering merchants so I can get my important cards. Hope you enjoy. So before I begin, I'd just like to explain to you guys what traveling merchants are. These are just NPCs that appear around Arcasia, and they have a specific selection of items that you can purchase for silver. Their stock contains things like rapport items, adventurous tome items, food items, but the most important things that you get from them are the cards. I'm sure while you guys have been playing, you've noticed the random nature of acquiring cards, how you can get basically any card from a card pack, and so you have a mismatch of various decks. Well, with traveling merchants, you can target farm certain cards, and it just so happens that a few of these cards that you can target farm are actually a part of some really good decks. Before I get into the actual decks, I'll tell you guys how the traveling merchants work. So, traveling merchants appear on a schedule. They appear 30 minutes past the hour and they stay there in that spot for 25 minutes. So, if they appear at 6:30, they'll be gone by 6:55. So, you have 25 minutes to find the merchant and buy the item you want from them. So the merchants don't always have the same things in stock all the time. However, if there is something a merchant sells, you're guaranteed to see it in their selection eventually. So while this opportunity to buy it, the thing you want isn't there, if you check the merchant again maybe later in the day, he may have the thing you want. So to get a better understanding of where merchants spawn, when they spawn, and what they have available, let's go to maxroll.gg and check their wandering merchant guide. As you can see here, there are schedules which dictate the time in the game when certain merchants will spawn, as well as which merchants will spawn and the continent they will spawn on. So now let me give you an example of tracking a merchant. Let's just say that I want to find Bert. Bert sells a Seria card, and Bert can appear in these 4 map locations found in East Lutera: Black Rose Chapel, Lair Terrace, Boreas Domain, and Crokion Seashore. It means that when Bert spawns, he can be in any one of the locations on these maps. Once he's on that map, he has to be in this location. So for example, Black Rose Chapel, he only has one location. If he's on this map, just go to this location. If you see him, then buy your item. Go to Lair Terrace, he has to be here. Boreas Domain, he has to be here. For Crokion Seashore, there are 2 possible spawn points. So if he's not at one, he may be at the other. So just keep that in mind when looking for a merchant. They can be on various maps in the continent, but once they're on that map, there are only certain spots they can appear in. So let's look at the items that the merchants have for sale. If we look at Bert, for example, Bert spawns in East Lutera and he can sell these various report items, cards, and this cooking ingredient. So let's look at the cards. As you can see, he has 3 cards available in his stock, but he'll only ever sell 1 at a time when he spawns. So he'll either have the Seria card, the Nox card, or the Thunderwings card. Now, these options are presented to all players, so if you see a card, then that's the same card someone else is going to see as well. So if the card you want isn't there, you could simply just, if you want, you could buy the one that's available to, just to increase your card collection, or just leave and come back again when he respawns. So now let's talk about tracking these merchants. You already know when they're going to spawn based on their schedule. So in terms of where they're going to spawn, there's no way to know without actually going to check. Now fortunately, in the Lost Art Discord, there is a channel for events, merchants, and bosses. It's mostly used at this point for tracking wandering merchants just because it's so important. So basically the channel works like this. You state your server, the merchant that has spawned, where they have spawned, of their possible spawn locations, and you can also include what important item they have in stock. In this case, Bert was spotted at Boreas Domain. He has Seria, and he'll be gone in 9 minutes. That way, if you follow notifications for this channel, they'll appear in game if you have Discord running. and you can go to this location and just get this card. Just a few rules of etiquette for this channel. This is not a channel for asking information. It is simply a place where you state which merchant you saw, when, where, what's available, and how much time is left. It is expected that you understand the Wandering Merchant schedule and things like that. So I'll be posting all the necessary links in the description box below so you can get an understanding of what to do when these notifications appear. So if you're unfamiliar with the merchants, you can go to the same page I went to on Maxroll, see what the merchant has in stock, to know which merchants you want to look out for, and then just listen for a ping for your server. It's a community driven effort to inform persons about the merchants. So if no one declares that the merchant has been seen and where it's been seen, then it just won't be known. So if you encounter them, just come to the Discord and share their location. It would also be helpful to just state as well what they have in stock. So for example, they're really mainly used for sourcing cards, so it will be really helpful to just say which card they have for sale as well. So I'm just going to go through which merchants are really important, so you can just focus on those at first while you begin to understand the rest of the system and other offerings from other merchants. We have Bert, who sells the Seria card. We have Mac, who sells the Way card. We have Jeffrey, who sells Cian and Madnik, and we have Oliver, that sells Mocha Mocha. So I'm just gonna go back in the game and show you why these cards are important. So let's just go through these in order. First is Bert. Bert sells the Seria card, and Seria is a part of the Lostwind Cliff set. And what this set gives upon reaching level 12 activation is a 7% to your crit rate. Now this isn't a 7% increase to your crit rate, it's a flat 7% added to your crit rate. So if you had 21% before, if you get Awakening level 12 on this set, you will get 28% crit. So for those who don't understand Awakening and the whole card process, I'll leave a link to my card guide in the description below, just so you guys can understand what it means by set effects and Awakening bonuses and things like that. Now after Bert, we have Jeffrey, who sells 2 out of the 3 cards necessary for the Wheel Meet Again deck. He sells Madnik and Cian. This is a 3-card deck, so he sells 2 out of the 3 cards necessary to awaken this deck. Now the set effect, the awakening effect of this deck is a reduction in damage. When you're at 9 levels of awakening, you'll get a additional 16% damage reduction from enemies when you're below 50% HP. And also when you reach 15 levels of awakening, which is maxing out all the cards, you will restore your HP when you're attacked below 20% max HP. So it's a very good defensive deck. Going down the list, we see the Forest of Giants set, which includes Mocha Mocha, which is sold by Oliver. And the 3-piece effect for this set is a 15% increase in effectiveness of your potions, and the awakening bonuses when fully awakened is a 30% increase in both physical and magical defense. And lastly, if we get to the Light of Salvation deck, we'll see that this includes Way, and this is sold by Mac. Now the set effect of the Light of Salvation deck is a 30% reduction in dark damage taken, and with 12 levels of awakening, it changes all your outgoing damage to holy element, and then with a max 30 levels of awakening, it gives you a total of 15% increase to holy damage dealt. Now since all your damage was changed to holy, it is basically a 15% increase in all outgoing damage. a very good set when taking on Legion Generals when that is released later in Tier 3. I hope this guide helps you guys in your quest to acquire cards. Cards are an important part of PvE and open world PvP, so it's important to get a good footing when it comes to those game elements. If you guys still have any difficulties understanding Wandering Merchants, you can reach out to me on Twitch, where I stream Lost Ark 3 times a week. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy your journey through Arcasia.